All right. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. Hello, everybody. I am Joel. I am the educational component, I suppose, of the uh, the team of me and Rich. I think we've met a lot of you. And some of you have already been on the cruise before, so at certain times, please feel free to use the chat, comment, add thoughts, whatever. So amazing. When I'm talking, Rich is going to monitor the chat, and when he's talking, I'll monitor the chat. So we'll be keeping an eye on stuff. So first of all, let me tell you a little bit about I'm going to talk about the sort of the workshop aspect of everything. We have 73 narrators signed up so far. We are committed to always keeping it a boutique event. We don't want it to become massive, but it's a party. And 73 is a good number for a party, and we know it'll build. So let me tell you about our casting reps.
This year, let me tell you,
And,
let me jump in and say this year the max is 90.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Um, And so this year we already have and our coaches, our casting reps versus a lot of other events, our casting reps also are there as coaches. So they are doing sessions with narrators, giving them feedback, giving them, guidance. And it's a very safe space. They know they are there. They know and they want to instill to you that everyone is there to make you better and help you become someone they're even more excited about casting. It is not a judgment space. It is not an audition. It is a very nurturing environment where they are there to help you to grow. So, first of all, we have Jessie Bickford from Blackstone, who is a great communicator and a wonderful coach in her own right. And we really do look for casting folks who can come on board and be coaches that also can articulate about the art form and are good directors as well. And that can be, and not everyone has that skill of talking about the craft. We have Tamara Marsden, who's the senior casting director from Podium Audio. Um, and Tamara is fantastic because, first of all, she freaking loves the event. Like 3.5 seconds. Well, no, not even. Like it was our last day, and she kind of accosted me and said, "I'm coming back next year," right? Because she had such a great time. Her enthusiasm is amazing. She's an actor herself, so she understands how to speak actor. And because she's the senior casting director from Podium, who have a huge team, she is constantly referring people to her entire casting department. And Podium is now casting even more and more romance, as well as fantasy and paranormal and science fiction and all that stuff. Um, we also have Melanie Gagne, who is an Audie-nominated executive producer at Scholastic and also a freelance casting director. She's done over 250 titles. I love that we have someone coming who also has a YA focus and a younger audience focus. So juvenile fiction and younger audiences, since I think that is work that a lot of people love doing and not a lot of people talk about the craft of that. We are in the process of adding two more casting representative coaches. As our numbers grow, we are always committed to keeping we are always committed to keeping the numbers of the percentage of casting of coach to students or to narrators really intimate. As our numbers grow, we add coaches. Um, so our performance coaches from the other side of the microphone, as it were, we have, of course, nonfiction superstar, master of over 1,000 titles, Sean Pratt. We have Audie winner Natalie Naudus, who is not only a brilliant narrator, and does a lot of amazing stuff in romance and science fiction, and space opera, but also a social media superstar with over 200,000 followers across various platforms. We're going to be doing a social media masterclass with Natalie, talk about all about um, how she has accomplished that, how she looks after herself and her personal, spoons at the same time. Um, we also have Audie winner Carol Monda, who I have taught with, and we've done panels together, and I love her approach. She is smart and kind and nurturing and honest. And she is also an audiobook director for Hachette, and she has that side of the table, or that experience as well. And me, creator of Acting for Audio, which has had just about over 200 graduates. And for those of you that don't know, I have a very strong acting and directing background. I was a director for years in London and New York. I apprenticed under three Tony nominated directors, one Tony winning director. Um, and I also have a university acting performance background. So sorry, a teaching background. I was the director of drama at a university and things like that. Um, for additional panelists, or presenters, we also have Anna Clements, who's amazing at self-empowerment, owning your own talent, also an expert on Spanish language narration. I think she and I are going to be doing, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Um, and Karen Cummins, the creator of Narrator's Roadmap, who's going to do a whole awesome session alongside me a little bit, but she's going to lead it on public domain, self-publishing, acquiring rights to titles you might be interested in that aren't already in audio, and finding titles that you might never have imagined were in the public domain at this point. We all think of it kind of being like, oh, 1920 and whatever before, but Karen's really a master at finding things you would never guess are in the public domain already, much earlier than you would think. Um, and as I said, we keep adding more and more coaches because we want the ratio to be intimate. The personal connection for us at this event is paramount. Um, every attending narrator has the opportunity for 4 one-on-one coaching sessions, small group, but a one-on-one performance session. We ask you way in advance when you sign up, and we will send it. Actually, no, we send an email later now, because we used to do it when you first signed up, but then we realized we were adding people and people's experience changes across the time. So before we are embarking, we will ask you with plenty of time which of the coaches and publishers you've already worked with. And we assign you very carefully with that info. So you're getting new connections and fresh feedback and a new, fresh eyes on your talent, fresh ears on your talent. Um, and we send you those assignments well in advance. You are not going to arrive, with your suitcase and land at your cabin and go, what the fuck am I going to read? And, who am I going to do for what? We send you those assignments well in advance, along with information about what each of those casting folks and coaches specialize and focus on, what genre and style they cast the most often, what their particular skill set, how they think they can most help you, and what they would love to hear you read. So that really makes a difference. Um, Something I am super proud of about our event is we work really, really hard to make sure the panels are not the same exact material you hear covered again and again at a million different workshops. Um, I find that no matter how great some events are, once you've gone 3, 4 years, the same information starts to be said again and again. And I work really hard to make sure that doesn't happen. I am, any of you who know me will not be shocked by this, I am an overachiever. And we strive to make the educational sessions that we do on this event well crafted, fresh, and focused. Um, I have been to too many events where the sessions kind of feel like the presenters are maybe winging it and it's a little loosey goosey. And they sort of go, okay, let's just have a chat, whatever. And they end up just brushing the surface of the topic or falling back on their usual teaching points rather than diving into the nitty gritty of that focused subject. And they end up sort of desperate for audience questions after talking for 5 minutes. And I promise you, if you talk to the people who came last year, they will tell you they could feel the difference in the way we approach the educational sessions. These are more like TED Talks and master classes because I've sat in audiences frustrated, and I am never going to put our attendees through that. Um, we also want to challenge and engage narrators of all levels. And we have people coming to the workshop who are newbies and just getting their feet wet alongside earphones winners, Audie nominees, SOVAs winners. It's a big range of experience. And we make sure there is valuable info for everyone. One of the ways we do that, because we know it's really important to take care of newbies who may not have recorded a single book or may just be starting their journey. What we do is we do a special pre-embarkation Zoom Q&A, especially for people just starting out, where they can feel free to ask all the questions they might not feel brave enough to sort of put their hand up and ask around a group of other narrators. And that also really looks after the experienced narrators because they're not sitting in an educational session going, oh my God, yes, you need to read the book first, like that kind of stuff. So what, and that session, like we explore the basics of the ins and outs of ACX, using a pseudonym, all those things that are really pressing when you first start out. So if you're brand new to narration, you're getting extra attention, and we're making sure you feel confident and you never feel lost. And we really do address things that are, at the forefront of your mind.
And
And
it's not
last,
just a Q and A. That free
no, no,
session
no.
is not a
Yeah,
Q&A.
it's a, I do an in-depth talk. I think last year it lasted like,
Two
I,
hours.
it lasted like 2 hours, and people loved it. Like Karen was like, "You should sell this thing," and I was like, "No, we want it to be special for this." But so people really responded to it. I also challenge our coaches who do a lot of panel events and workshops, like Sean Pratt and myself, to dig deep and find topics that we believe are really relevant and important, but haven't necessarily been tackled before in this kind of setting. So if you've studied with Sean, you're not going to be like, I've already heard Sean do this, or you've studied with me. I do not teach the same lecture stuff that I teach in my class at Audiobooks at Sea. I make myself come up with fresh material. So things I'm thinking about doing this year, and this is by no means a complete list, but stuff that's bouncing around my head. Um, I'm thinking of doing a big session on the psychology and technique of comedy, which I know a lot about. I used to write and direct stand-up comedians. I am, as a director, I understand comedic structure. Um, and like I said, we're doing a social media deep dive, not just the intentions behind it, but a healthy way to find space for that in your career and schedule and keep your boundaries safe. Anna is going to do a session on imposter syndrome and coping with that as an artist and the day-to-day struggles of the kind of negative message we send ourselves that get in our way and stop us from putting ourselves out there. Last year, I did a workshop on Laban, which is a movement technique that connects to voice, and folks absolutely loved it. It's an amazing character tool, and I'm thinking about doing a part two because so many people told me they wanted more of that. Like people were like, "I want more, I want more." So I'm thinking of doing a part two. Um, I'm looking at making Rich do a session on Canva for the narrator because I know a couple narrators that use it, and like the way that they tie in to using Canva for their social media and getting like stuff out about like, here's my book, here's what's coming up, this is what I'm recording now. Like that is phenomenal. If it can be such a remarkable, creative, and fun tool for self-promotion and self-expression in a streamlined, systematic way that you can like get it on Twitter and Insta and wherever you need to in various forms with templates, etc., that doesn't eat up your whole life. So I'm thinking of making Rich teach something this year. Um, we're going to split our big conference area in two. And I think we're going to do a deep dive into voicing gender, which we did touch on last year. But what we're going to do this time is split the male identifying narrators and the female identifying narrators in separate rooms. So Carol and Natalie will work with the ladies in one room doing male voices, I think, in depth and exploring the solution is not just always to go low. And then we'll do female voices with the guys in the other space. So we can maybe get some people up and working and really explore how you work on that. Um, I'm also looking into doing a deep dive into approaching mystery and cozy mystery and how different those two worlds are and where their similarities are and how different their techniques need to be and the unique challenges of that. Because I know that I think most narrators either fall into a category of I really want to do mystery or I really want to do cozy mystery. I think most people love doing one of the two. So I think it's worth looking at noir and all those aspects. Um, and of course, we're going to have a publisher panel. Last year, our casting folks were so open and honest, and I asked them tough questions, and people really thought it was next level. They were so appreciative of the candor and how honest the casting folks were when we sort of went beyond just the surface. Like I said, I want this to appeal to everyone and really invigorate and engage narrators who have already worked with me or Sean and seen us teach in the past or been to other panels. Um, and we keep it fresh. You know, you're gonna walk away going, this is stuff I haven't seen talked about, and this is stuff I haven't heard broken down and addressed in an educational way at that level at most conferences. Um, and one thing that's also important is we know this is not only a learning event, but it's a cruise and a vacation. And a lot of narrators are coming with friends and family. As Rich, I'm sure will tell you, if you want to bring plus ones, plus twos, plus eights, we can get you the same group rate. Um, so we make sure you have time to enjoy the ship and all it offers. Take in the entertainment. We go as a gaggle to the shows and to the discos and the silent disco and the trivia event. We go as, we say where everybody's going in each day. Um, or where we think the group's going to go. Karaoke, all that stuff. They usually do karaoke with a live band that people go nuts for. We make sure that you have plenty of time to go ashore and explore the ports of call and excursions if you want to, and have time to unwind and socialize and play with your fellow narrators. So we know, if you've never been on a cruise before, it is a floating resort at sea. And even though my hyper focus is always, oh my God, I have to give them more educational value. I want them to think it's worth it. Last year, folks said they would love a little more downtime. So we are keeping one day aside for you to relax. We may organize some fun social gatherings like games or whatever, but it is going to be a non-educational day for you to be on a freaking cruise ship and take advantage of that. Book a massage. If you're a guy, Rich and I once treated ourselves to like a hot razor shave. It was the most amazing fucking thing in the universe. If you're a guy, it's like life changing. You walk away feeling like you've got a baby's butt on your face. Well, not on your face, but you walk away feeling like your face is a baby's butt. That was inappropriate. Okay. Anyway, they're amazing. I'll lounge by the pool, whatever. And every day, on your itinerary, we will plot, as I said, where our main social gathering spots will be, whether we're going, where we think the main group's going to want to go. So if you want to come and play and drink as a posse, you can, or you can go off and have your own me time. And something I promise you on a cruise ship, if you need like to decompress and sort of like be in your own little bubble, there are always spaces on this ship where you can go and do that. I promise your plus ones will have a blast. At some events, if you bring along your significant other, they're kind of like stuck in a convention hotel in the middle of nowhere, and what are they going to do? But when we're off doing workshop events and learning, they have plenty of shit to keep them happy and busy. The ship has amazing events and entertainment throughout the entire day. They can hang by the pool. Plus, they all get to know each other and make friends because we're all together for a nice chunk, and they get to know each other at dinner. And so they're not going to be lonely. They're going to make friends. And this year, early on in our journey, we're planning a +1 mixer as well. So they really can sort of get to know each other. Um, uh, what is different about this event that so many people really responded to is not only are you getting coaching time with the casting folks, there is time to connect with them. We are together at dinner. Rich will talk about that. You will get to know these folks as people, and it's not pressurized. At so many industry events, you end up crammed in a room like a sardine, desperate to make a 30-second connection with someone, and your anxiety is through the roof, and you just try and do this like, oh my God, I don't want to pitch. I don't want them to hire me, but what do I say? This could not be farther than that. Everyone is relaxed. It is such an open, warm social experience. We all dine together. You can go on an excursion with the casting folks. There is so much time to connect to these people, and your fellow artists on a human level. Um, I really encourage you to chat with folks who came last year. They will tell you we go above and beyond to make this something really unique and special, both from an educational perspective, but also it is one heck of a party. We have dress up nights where we did last year, we did the 60s, and people went all out. It was awesome. There's a white party where we all kind of dress in white if you choose to, and that was super fun. There's the formal night or the optional formal night where everybody got dressed to the nines. Like, we have fun. And I promise you, as much as I hold myself to a very high standard to make sure your learning is worth every penny you invest in this event, you are going to laugh and lounge and have an equally special time on a human level with your fellow artists. So that is my spiel. Um,
So
and
there's a couple
uh,
questions.
okay.
Steve had asked if you were going to be thinking of leading any sessions on accents or dialects, because he's always interested in learning more about that.
um, I might be still up in the air. I'm thinking about it. And I will certainly give it consideration and see what I can come up with that I feel is of use to the wide group, and sort of, what I can break down in a nice educational chunk of time. But it's a great idea. And I appreciate you suggesting that, Steve, because Steve is also a very talented dialect guy. He's great. Okay, what other questions do we have?
Sherry had a couple questions. Some of them are you, some of them are me. So she's asking how big the ship is. It's the same for those that were there last year. It's the same class of ship as last year. It's about the same size. So it's around 2,500 on it. It's a smaller ship. And one of the reasons we picked it was because it's a smaller ship, and we have a lot of first-time cruisers that come on this event, and it's a lot less daunting than going on one that has 6,000 people on it and 17
Yeah.
floors and like a floating skyscraper on its side. It's a
And
nice,
we
really
end
nice
up
size
being
ship.
a nice percentage of the cruisers when you add the narrators coming and the +1s and everything. And we give everyone name tags. And one thing we noticed very quickly, and we noticed this on the other so we also did another romance cruise. One thing we really noticed is the staff recognizes the name tags, and they recognize that we are a big group, and they treat us great. Like, they really do go the extra mile because they know we are a large contingent, which is lovely. So it's kind of a nice little identifier.
And
Sorry,
then,
keep going.
sorry, then she asked about if we'll all be lodged in the same part of the ship. I'm in control of where the rooms are in general, and we won't be in the same, we'll be in the same floors pretty much. Pending availability, if it becomes a matter of there's only availability in this part. But I try to put people in the same floors on floor 7 and 8 primarily, on this ship, because those are the floors I like. And so we're kind of in the same general area, but not all necessarily lined up in a row as far as that's concerned. How many hours did you say there are total in workshops? Last year Oh gosh. Did we say last year there were 13 or 14?
And sometimes we had split events. So if you kind of add those, I guess that's extra hours of like actual educational content. But yeah. Um, One thing we don't do is we don't, and this is something that gives me massive FOMO and stress, is we don't ask you to choose from 6 different presentations at the same time. Like, I get the idea of wanting people to have a choice, but I always find that people are running around going, "Oh my God, I wanted to go to that and I couldn't go to this," and whatever. So we do break a little bit once in a while, um, to make sure that if something is, say, niche or more targeted, there's something else. So there's always at least 2 things if it's needs to spread focus for people's interests. But most of the time, we are dealing with broad subjects, so it is of interest to everybody. It is in depth for everybody, and we are about quality over quantity. It is not spaghetti against a wall
You
education.
spend most of the
Um,
time as a big group.
yeah,
Um,
most of the time is a big group.
And then the last question for Sherry was we'll have the same seating time for meals as a group. And I'm going to talk a little about that. Yes, we will have the same time for dinner time. Breakfast and lunch are on your own with other folks in that or whoever you are with. Um da, da, da. For people who haven't I'm gonna come back to Jim. For people who haven't cruised either in a while or ever, what are some of the things we should pack or shouldn't pack that we wouldn't necessarily think about? So one of the things that we also do on top of uh, the
Newbie.
newbie cruise session, I do a pre-cruise orientation session, which is very also in depth for people who are in that situation. We either haven't cruised or haven't cruised in a while, and we go over all of that. So, and I have lists and things like that for you. So it's you don't need to worry about any of that. I've got you covered on all of that. Can we
Did
see
you
our
did you
balanced
did you see?
ode somewhere?
There's
Oh,
it
it's
there's
just
it.
me. It's me,
Sorry.
Jim. So I will make a note and I'll get that information to you after the call.
Jim
Um,
also asked about bringing his wife bringing a friend. Did you see that
yes,
above as well?
I skipped that one. I'm gonna get with Jim after the call
Great. Okay.
and friend.
And then is it possible to do a room upgrade at this point? We're already
Rich,
registered.
is it possible to do a room grade at this point if we're already registered? It depends on the room. So I have to look at the specifically, is it Corin or Corrine? You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Corrine.
Corrine? Okay.
Yes.
I'll look and see. I can't remember what type of room you got, but I'll look and see what we can do. So,
Okay. Yeah, I had the view, the one
okay.
with the window.
Okay, cool. When we get off the call, I'll look and I'll shoot you an email about that. Um,
Thank you.
Perfect. So then I was gonna, so my part of it, Joel wanted me to talk a little bit about logistics, and then I'm going to talk about signing up and that and everything and how that all works. So I am going to share a screen if I can do it. Share. Click away. Where's the one we want? We want,
Oh, I need to mute so I don't.
okay. Perfect. And I am going to, okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about this. I'm also going to right now dump a bunch of links into the chat. Oh, my chat's gone. I can't do that. Where's the chat? There we go. I'm going to dump a bunch of links into the chat so that you guys have them as I'm talking about things. So one of the things Joel wanted me to talk about was the schedule and how that all works. So Joel's working on putting together the schedule with the coaches pretty much starting after Christmas time and then working through the early part of the year on it. We have the schedule out to everyone pretty much about a month ahead of the cruise. Everyone gets it by email so you know what's going on. This is what it looked like last year, just kind of as an example of it. Breaks it down by day and what's going on and where everything is. And then I also have printouts for you on board as far as that's concerned. This year, we're also going to be putting it into an app that I'm going to talk about in a little bit with that. One other thing that we do is we do a contact directory that we work on closer to the cruise again, and everybody is listed on the website in a password protected area that everyone gets the information on, so that you all can look and see who's coming, get to know people, see who your friends are coming, but most importantly, so that the casting people and the coaches can see who's coming and have contact information for you. So you'll get a message from me if you're signed up, asking for a photograph and certain information to put into this contact directory, and it lists on the website like this. But the real purpose of it is so that what we can do is the coaches get also a contact directory of everyone they're working with and who they've worked with when, with their photograph and their contact information. They get this in a printed out book and they get it emailed to them. So this, for example, is Allison Lights from this year, so that when you come in the room, they can know who you are and put a name to the face and take notes on this and remember it. And I will say, I have had several of the coaches reach out to me afterwards for contact information or what, for people that they knew on board, or they've gotten rid of their paper copy and they want to make sure they have an email copy of that. And so they do reach out for this information. It's good to keep it all in one place for everybody. Um, Also, Joel mentioned a little bit, but I just want to say it again. Uh, you're going to find out who your coaches are a few weeks ahead of time. I think last year was about 3.5 weeks ahead of time. You're going to find out who your coaches are. And Joel sends out a little information sheet about each coach's specialty, so that you can choose your pieces based on the coach's specialty and what they work with. Because we don't recommend that you bring the same piece for all 4 coaches, because it kind of just becomes, it gets in your head. Like one person says, oh, this, and then another person says that. And you're like, oh, but they said this. And instead of a learning experience, it becomes a conflict for you. So we really encourage people to look at your book or what you've worked on and say, okay, I'd like to go to so and so. They specialize in horror. I'm going to get a piece that works with that. Or this person
Rich,
specializes. Yes,
Rich, hold on. I just want to jump in because you just used a musical theater term that could be confusing.
I
He's
know, I know.
Rich just said, "Look in your book." What he meant, he was thinking of an audition book that musical theater people have. What he meant is look through your lexicon of things that you want to work on and focus on. And he didn't mean choose something from a single book.
Because lexicon's not a confusing word. Look through your samples of things that you have and pick something that is good to work on with a particular person. So we want you guys to succeed with all of the coaches and learn as much as possible. So we try to give you as much information as we can as early as we can so that you can do that. Now, another thing we have is like information about the ship here. This is a map we gave last year of where the coaching sessions were. Talking a bit more about the coaching sessions. Sorry, just going to mute that. Talking more about the coaching sessions, there's kind of 2 different ways we set them up. So because the ship is not designed with a lot of small spaces to do small coaching sessions, we have to rent some extra staterooms for it. And people loved it last year because they basically did a coaching session with 2 or 3 other people in the stateroom looking out at the view of the ocean. So there's those coaching sessions that are done that way. And then there's coaching sessions that are done with more of like a group of 10 or 11 in one of the conference rooms when that's done. But we have too many coaching sessions to do them all in the conference room. And we found that people really like it. So this is a map that showed last year where those coaching rooms were. And of course, another thing we want to do to make sure everyone's as successful as possible. So this year, we've decided we're going to put everything into an app. And this is a sample. If you imagine this on your phone, this is the app we did for our last cruise that we had, which was a romance readers conference cruise over the summer. But it did things like it had the full schedule in it that you could just click on an item and you could read about what the item was and you could see who was working on it. These would be the casting people and the coaches that are on the item. You click on their name and it brings you all of their information and links and also everything they're doing that whole time. It's really a great app, and we'll do something very similar for this with that, for this as this for audiobooks at sea, but just with the appropriate information for that. And another thing that we can do in the app is we can do that directory I talked about. So we'll have the directory in it of who everyone is, with information on them and contact information and such, so that you know who everybody is that you're on board with and have a good way of getting in touch with people and such. It's just a great way. And the nice thing too is we'll do a printout of it for you as well to have. But last year, the printout meant that it was coming with the person to the session, and their plus ones didn't necessarily know the schedule. Your plus one can be part of the app too, so they can know the schedule.
People loved the app on the last event we did. They loved it. It's so easy and friendly,
Yeah,
like
it's
really
really,
great. Like, oh, you can't really see, but anyway, I'm just
yeah, that's why I did it this way because
but
you can't
yeah.
really see on the
But
phone.
but it's user friendly and we can customize it. It's fabulous and it's an upgrade. I'm really glad we're adding this year to this event.
Because there's a lot of information you're getting ahead of time about the coaches, about what they like and don't like, about the schedule, about everything. And so now it's kind of one place where everything can be contained. Um, Moving on, he wanted me to talk a little bit about things like the excursions and that sort of thing. So I mean, the nice thing about this event is it's like a floating hotel. I mean, we go to sleep and we wake up in a different place, and we get to do fantastic things when we go on these excursions, when we go to Costa Maya and to Cozumel and to Belize City. I mean, last year people went snorkeling and jet skiing and through on four-wheelers through the jungle and that, and so many fantastic opportunities and things. And all of those things, once you're signed up, are available through Celebrity site and through another site that I put together showing all of the information about the cruise. And I'm here to help with all of that. Like if you want to add on any of those excursions and that, I'm here to help you with all of that, whatever you need as far as that's concerned. We had a hotel last year that we recommended for the night before the cruise, because when you're cruising and leaving early in the morning, it's recommended that you fly in the day before, so that if you have an airline problem, you don't miss the ship. The ship, it will board from about 10 a.m. until about 2:30 p.m. So if you have a flight that comes in at 1 o'clock and it's late, you're gonna miss the ship. So we recommend people come in the night before. And we had a hotel that we suggested for that. We'll have the same thing this year. I'm still working on choosing what that hotel is. And we also had a bus we provided from the hotel the morning of the cruise. So we all basically just met out front and then loaded up. We needed two buses because of the number of people. We loaded up the two buses, but it made it really easy to get to the cruise terminal and get everything coordinated and on board. And like I said, I have my pre-cruise Zoom orientation a couple weeks ahead of the cruise where we'll go over all of that information. But we do everything we can to try to make sure that you're taken care of. We had the question about eating together, and for dinner time, what we do, breakfast and lunch are kind of on your own with your friends and such that you've made, or with your other partners that you brought with you. For dinner time, all of your plus ones are welcome to come to dinner with everybody. It's the whole group together. And what we have is we all have dinner at the late dinner time, which some people complain about the dinner time being too late, but unfortunately, to have it as the big group, we have to do it the later time. So it's at 8:30 in the dining room. We basically have the entire dining room to ourselves, that part of the dining room. And it was just fantastic. Last year we encouraged people to sit with different people each night that they didn't know. And it's just a fantastic party. You get to know people and you get to I just can't. It's so exciting and it's so fun, and it was just wonderful. And the staff is used to dealing with large groups and used to dealing with anyone's food needs and necessities. We have had people who are vegan and vegetarian on board, or people with allergies and such. And those are things that if you just let me know when we're talking and planning, I work with the ship and I let them know. And then we also just let them know that night. And they're very accommodating. They'll come through, the manager will come and go over the menu with you and make sure that everything is what you need. They want you to be happy and healthy and to enjoy your experience. So they're very helpful and accommodating about that. Now,
Just to jump in, one thing I just want to clarify, because if you've cruised a lot, people assume that if you're on a cruise, you get assigned a table. And we don't have that. We have a big, large area, and as Rich said, You can move around every night. You can sit, with a casting director and your buddies and your favorite coaches and whatever each night, and move around and have a whole different social experience each evening within our big cumulative gaggle in the main dining room together.
And one of the things I don't think Joel mentioned very much is that we did theme nights. So we did theme nights based on, did you mention that? I didn't hear it. I'm not sure what he's saying, but we did
I
theme
talked
nights
about I
along.
talked about I talked about the 60s, and
Oh yeah, okay,
we did the 60s
great.
and the
I just
white
didn't
party
hear
and
it.
the
So
formal.
so
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun because that's for dinner and then after that too. And so that's really, really a lot of fun. Then I have to turn this way so that I can see my notes. I'm sorry. So I'm not facing the camera now, but okay. So the big question everybody has is always pricing and how that all works. So there's two components. There's the cruise component and then there's the workshop component. Excuse me. Everyone coming to the workshop needs a room on the cruise, because if you don't have a room on the cruise, you can't be on the ship and you can't be at the workshop. So that's the best way to put it, as far as I've ever considered. You need a stateroom so that you can come to the workshop, but not everyone that is in a stateroom needs to pay for the workshop. Your guests that are not attending the workshop and attending classes don't sign up for the workshop. They just are part of your stateroom fee. The staterooms on the ships are all designed generally and priced with two people, but they are available for singles as well. It's just a slightly different pricing structure. But there's three types of main rooms that we have held in the group. We have the veranda staterooms, which are balcony staterooms that overlook the ocean. So they have an outdoor balcony that you can access. We have the ocean view staterooms, which are window staterooms. They look at the ocean as well, but they just have a window. They don't have the balcony you can go out to. And then we have inside staterooms, which are rooms that don't have a window and are inside the ship. So those are like a hotel room if it didn't have a window, basically. Um, People came in all three types of rooms last year. It's really just a personal preference whether you want to have the outdoor space to be able to open the window, open up the door and be outside, or you want to have the view, or you're just looking for a place to crash basically, and you're going to spend the rest of your time elsewhere on the ship. Um, so those are the three types of room options. There are also other types of rooms on board: concierge class, aqua class, suite rooms. Those are all available also, but that we're not allowed to hold the rates on those. So if you're interested in something like that, just let me know and I'll contact my rep at Celebrity and we'll find out the information on that. These rooms with the group include the group packages. So they include the classic beverage package with Celebrity, which includes all beverages up to $10 per drink. So it's beer, wine, liquor, soft drinks, coffee, all up to $10 per serving, basically. And then they also include the Wi-Fi for one device per person at a time. It's a basic Wi-Fi, but it's great for email, basic web browsing, that sort of thing. It works well for all of that. There are upgrades you can do on both the beverage package and the Wi-Fi if you choose to. And it's just a personal preference. I don't always upgrade because I get most of my drinks are covered by the classic package. If you're looking for top shelf liquor or something like that, you might want to upgrade. Or if you're looking to do work on your phone and your laptop sort of thing, you might want to upgrade the Wi-Fi package. But in general, the packages that are provided are really great and really useful. Shipboard gratuities are charged on top of everything now. That's a change for those of you that came from last year, but that's a change from Celebrity. They're an average of about 144 for the cabin, and those are charged on board, or they can be prepaid if you want. Right now, Celebrity's running a
Who are you
series of
talking about?
sales for the next
What'd you
couple of
say?
weeks.
Oh,
Sorry. Celebrity's running a series of sales for the next couple of weeks that go till November 7th. The blue on the screen is the price we have held. The red is the sale price that I can take off of it during the celebrity sales that are going on. And then the highlighted one is the balance after we've applied that sale price on it. One of the things that I always do is I always try to get the best price. I'm not in this to get you to spend more than you should on the cruise. I want the narrators and everyone attending to get the best price possible. So if there's a promotion or a deal or a price drop or a price change or whatnot, I'm repricing. I'm fixing that. I'm constantly looking at it. Last year, the prices dropped, and I spent 2 days on the phone with Celebrity repricing 60 rooms. just to so that everyone got the best deal possible. That's my big thing. There's also military discounts available on top of these prices, and those range from $25 for an inside stateroom up to $200 off for a veranda stateroom. So that is pricing for the staterooms.
Oh, should you
Celebrity,
mention, Rich, real quick, should you mention that if people are with our Royal Caribbean cruisers, that no, never mind.
they're they're I'm not sure what the second part of that is. But
That if there's Royal Caribbean points, it now is one company and it goes together. Is that correct?
well, it doesn't go together. It's it's
Sorry.
Joel's saying the wrong thing. there's there's between Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, because they're the same parent company, there is reciprocation of your loyalty level. But if you have a loyalty status with Royal Caribbean, just let me know, and we'll work on whatever the best situation for that is too. Just to make it clear, they don't go together though. You won't earn Royal Caribbean points on a Celebrity cruise. You only earn Celebrity points, but there's reciprocation of levels as far as that's concerned. So, um, Celebrity lets us break it down into payments up until final payment date. So what we do is we break it down for people into monthly payments. And right now, Celebrity's last payment date is January 5th. So we are breaking down 4 payments right now: October, November, December, and then January 5th. And this slide just breaks down for those prices in the slide before what it would be for monthly payments for those 4 months, with the final payment being due on January 5th. For the workshop is only you only need to sign up for the workshop for the narrator that's attending the workshop, not for the guests. The workshop is $700. That is also available to be paid in a one-time fee or with a monthly payment plan. Right now, there's 6 months monthly payment available on that. They would start in October and it would run until March. The monthly payment plan on that does have a $5 admin fee. The payment plans for the stateroom do not have any admin fee at all as far as that's concerned. Then the links that I dropped, was I able to drop them? Yes, the links that I dropped into the chat there are all of the links you need for everything. I mean, the questions about how to sign up. So there's sign up forms in the chat form, which sends all of the information to me. Everything that whenever you go to the contact form, the sign up form and all that, it's all coming to me. They're just secure ways to send me the information so that we don't have to send personal information over email. Or you can email me at richnajic@gmail.com, or you can text or call me at my phone number, which I dropped in the chat. It's 260-224-3248, or the forms are available on the website at Audiobooks at Sea. I'm going to jump back over here to the website. If you go to the website here, Audiobooks at Sea, to the homepage, you'll see there's a lot of information on the website for questions you might have. There's information about the coaches here, the itinerary, all about the workshop. There's a whole great FAQ section about things. There's this link to this contact record from last year, and there'll be one for this year. And then here we've got cruise booking, narrator workshop for registration. And for people that are looking for a roommate, we have a post on the Facebook page here. So about it if you're looking for a roommate, because I am the one that has all that information. So if someone else is looking for a roommate, I know, and I can possibly match you up. So that was a lot of information. I'm going to stop.
I have two questions for you when you're ready for them.
Okay, I am ready for him. I'm just stopping the screen share. There we go.
Okay,
Okay, I'm
so Karine asks, I haven't been on a cruise in years. Which specific gratuities are covered in that $144?
So those are the shipboard gratuities cover for your and so for you, Karine, because you're in the room by yourself, it would be half of that. If it's one person, it's half of it. Two people, it's that amount. But the shipboard gratuities cover your stateroom attendant, your waiter, and bar staff. Those are the gratuities that are covered. Now, a lot of people will also tip on top of that, especially if the stateroom attendant was really great for you. Like a lot of times, people will leave an extra $5 or $10 a day for that person, or will tip their waiter if they have the same waiter. Our waiters are different each night because we're moving tables. So some people do and some people don't as far as that's concerned. But That's what the shipboard gratuities cover. What else, John?
And then someone asked what it's like cruising solo. I kind of answered it from my own perspective. I said that that rapidly, because we connect as a group from the first evening, you're going to make friends. If you want
Oh
to
yeah.
be, if you want to sort of, feel in a safe clutch, you're gonna be with people who are looking after you and making sure you never feel, off on your own on an island. But that it's I think that we had a bunch of solo travelers last year, and they had a blast, and they felt very connected to the whole group, and they never felt sort of
I
I don't
mean,
know, you
Tina
never,
was a
you
solo
never
traveler, but she had a roommate, but she was a solo person, and
yeah, never you
she's
will
got
not
two
feel
thumbs up.
isolated. Yeah. Um, and those were the two big questions. Things I wanted to talk about really quickly was that in terms of the buffet, I think the food on Celebrity is fantastic. The buffets are great and very expansive, and there are a gazillion options, and there are vegan and vegetarian options. Um, and if you're British, there's fun British food for breakfast, which I love. There's like English sausages, and there's blood pudding and baked beans and all that fried bread. And then at lunch, it's sort of also very huge range. Um, and there's it's lots of different nationalities that are represented, so you can sort of travel around the world. Sometimes when we're in a certain port, they'll be reflective that day at lunch of sort of their cuisine, which is really fun. um, and at dinner, the menu does rotate. You're not stuck with the same things to choose from every single night. They do have a column on the menu that are kind of their classics section, where there's like, for instance, a roasted chicken or a steak or whatever that they have available every night if you sort of want to sort of, be less exploratory. But then each evening there are special things for that night that the menu offers. My favorite thing about a cruise, which I always tell people, is, and I didn't know this until someone else told me, is you do not have to order one thing at dinner. You can order like 3 appetizers and 2 entrees and 2 desserts and whatever. And I don't do that because I'm like, some sort of because I can consume it all, although I can consume a lot of it. I eat a lot. But I do it so if there's something I'm not crazy about, I've got another option that I'm going to love. So you can really kind of treat it as your own little smorgasbord. And the waiters are so used to it, they don't even bat an eyelid. They're not going to be like, how dare you? So you can really explore and have fun with the menu. And I think the dining experience is delightful. And I think the staff is excellent and treats us incredibly well. I think that was my added stuff.
So questions.
Questions, thoughts, concerns?
Y'all are so quiet.
Goodness me.
Last year, people were like, wait, I want to ask this. Wait, I want to ask this the whole time through.
And if you want to, just unmute and throw yourselves out. So, no? Oh, okay. Let's do this. Well, thank you. Thank you, Gabs. We try. And like Rich said, at that pre-cruise, at the pre-cruise event, the sort of the embarkation party, or embarkation Zoom session Rich does, he covers stuff in such detail. He helps you figure out how to sign on and like get onto the Celebrity app and like all the stuff that can be confusing for a first-time cruiser. And he I've never met anyone who is more gifted at making people feel looked after than Rich. He is incredible at it. And whatever your needs, he's there for you. He will help you make this experience the most it can possibly be. He's very gifted at what he does, I promise.
Ah,
Cindy has
I'm
a
looking
question.
at I'm
Yeah.
looking up Cindy's booking right now.
Oh, okay. I can't remember what I did. I
I
I
think
just
you
was so
did.
happy. I was saying, "Okay, let's do it again."
I think you did. Let me see. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, you got all the onboard stuff. You got all that. So you have the extra bonus credit and everything from signing up on board.
Okay. I'm not sure what that was, but I'm sure
I'll
you'll let
send it to
me
you.
know.
I'll
Okay,
send it to you
thanks.
so you have it.
For those of you that came late, and we did cover a lot, we have recorded this, right, Rich?
Yes. We
Uh,
are, Jim. Jim just asked if we're going to have organized +1 activities during the workshops, and we are going to have some of those this year. I met with the +1s, last year at the end and got some feedback from them. So we do have some more +1 stuff planned for this year.
so if you missed the beginning, Rich, can they just contact you and you can send it to them? Or are you going to
Yeah.
post it on the Facebook group? What do you think you're going to do?
I'm going to post it in the Facebook group, but if anyone wants to, they can just shoot me a message too if they can't find it, and I'll send them it'll take until later tonight or tomorrow for Zoom to process it, but yeah. When do you recommend booking the shore turner activities? So there's usually a sale around Thanksgiving, so I recommend starting to do it then. And if they're cancelable, the celebrity ones are cancelable if you've decided you've changed your mind up until like I think it's 2 weeks out. Maybe it might be a little less than that even. So if anyone is going to be buying like doing an upgrade to the packages or anything like that, I recommend Thanksgiving. I recommend that November month. They do crazy sales and at least the last couple of years, they've done crazy sales for all that stuff.
Lee is asking if there will be another utter nonsense SmackDown tournament. There will definitely be another one. It was way too popular for us to not do it again. It was a hoot. So for those of you that don't know, utter nonsense is kind of a Cards Against Humanity kind of game, except it depends on vocal performance. So you'll have to say something absurd in a Santa Claus voice or a vampire voice or whatever. And it's like the ultimate narrator party game. It was the amount of laughter that was like flying through that room was unbelievable. So, and we had a competition for like who was like the overall grand champion, and it was super fun. So we're definitely going to do that again. I promise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, thank you, everybody. Anybody that has any other questions that come up or anything like that, just let me know. I mean, I'm gonna repaste everything right here. So we've all, nope, that's not what I want. I'm gonna repaste everything right here so that we've got all the links, anybody who wants them. But yeah, I mean reaching out to us, it's any of these links come to me or head over to the Audiobooks to see website and all the information is there too of how to reach me. So I was looking forward to the answers to the
Oh
weird
wait,
questions.
where are the weird questions? Hold on,
They're
we'll
at the
find them.
top.
Go back. Okay, what is your phobia? Spiders. Rich, what's your phobia?
That's
Bats.
I
His
don't like bats.
mother, there was a bat in the house, and his mother had to like get the bat out into the screen enclosure. And Rich was unfortunately on the other side of the screen enclosure with the bat. So really, he should have turned
Also,
into
I was
Bruce
like
Wayne.
5.
He should have turned into Bruce Wayne, but instead he just hates bats.
Instead, I just
Pineapple
hate
on
bats.
pizza. Pineapple on pizza. Hell to the yes. Every single time I get a pizza, it's got pineapple on it. How many glasses of water do I drink a day? I drink iced tea. I drink throat coat iced tea when I'm recording, probably 2 gallons. Rich, how much water do you drink a day?
Not enough. We'll
Um,
go, we'll go with not
oddest,
enough.
oddest dream I can't even begin to say. I have very strange theatrical dreams where I'm in like a show and like it's very weird. Fondest childhood memory. This okay, mine would be Christmas morning getting the Phantom of the Opera behind the scenes hardback book that came out in 1989 or 1990, and I freaked the fuck out. Because
Andy
I'm
was like 35 at the time.
absolutely. Um, and so, Rich, what's your favorite childhood memory?
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know. I, 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 I really don't know. I've never really thought about it.
He'll get back to you.
I'll get back to everybody. It's
Um,
yet to happen,
all right.
so I have to grow up still.
So, all right, thank everybody. We reach out if you have questions about any of the educational stuff or what we're looking at. Message me if you have questions about any kind of logistical, cruisy, destination-y, booking-y type stuff. Rich is your man for anything that involves brain power.
Oh, Tina.
Oh, Tina, thank you. Oh my
Love
gosh.
you, Tina.
Tina is a party. She is a one-woman party in a very tiny package. And anytime Tina is at an event, the event is gonna rock. I gotta say that about Tina. Okay. So thank you all very, very much. And I hope we see a bunch of you. It's fun. Please join us. You'll have a blast, I promise. And learn a
Bye,
lot.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye.